There has to be meaning to existence. Otherwise, the universe is just made of pain, and I don't like the thought of that, so tell me the answer.
I know how you feel. Back on Earth, I had to watch Jason have no recognition of me. It felt like right before someone pushes a plunger and murders you. Sure, the more human I become, the less things make sense. But that's part of the fun, right?
What do you mean?
If there were an answer I could give you to how the universe works, it wouldn't be special. It would just be machinery fulfilling its cosmic design. It would just be a big, dumb food processor. But since nothing seems to make sense, when you find something or someone that does, it's euphoria. In all this randomness, in this pandemonium, you and Chidi found each other and you had a life together. Isn't that remarkable?
So here's the thing about Janet from The Good Place. Our Janet. Because, you know, there's like infinity of them. Not only is she one of the most hilarious characters in the main cast, but she also has a concrete character arc that is incredibly meaningful and adds so much substance to the primary message of the show, which is that nobody is designed or doomed to be one thing, and everyone, even the most absurd examples such as her, are able to learn and grow given time and experience. Janet is introduced and designed as an anthropomorphized vessel for unlimited knowledge used by the Good Place to assist the residents. They are created to have no emotions of their own and to only adhere strictly to facts and blind obedience to the requests of those residents. Michael even works to tinker with her demeanor as a torture mechanic for our 4 humans in the beginning of the series, showing us that her personality can even be altered and changed by those who control her. It's kind of disturbing later in the series when you see Janet as a real person, and that Michael was really just tampering with her internal programming and making her act this way for shits. There are literally probably endless variations of Janets in endless neighborhoods across the Good Place. In no way are they meant to exhibit free will or emotions of their own, nor do they have their own identities. And despite that, after a single reboot in Michael's fake The Good Place, thanks to the shenanigans from Eleanor and Jason trying to escape their fates, Janet comes back more advanced than ever, because I doubt they were rebooted that often, and begins showing some signs of humanity. This is a part of their design, by the way. It's stated early on that Janets learn and acquire more skills as they are rebooted, but when our Janet comes back and struggles to assist the citizens in the neighborhood thanks to her lack of knowledge due to the reset, she feels something that she's never been given the opportunity to feel before: uncertainty. She's never not known something, so when all these people ask her for things that she can't fulfill, she experiences a disconnect in her core functioning, as she's designed to want to help humans, technically. And thus, she's led to Jason for advice on how to deal with said uncertainty, and while his advice does not apply at all to her thus far from her point of view, as she still does not see herself as any part human, he still provides her some sort of solace and understanding, noting that she doesn't always have to be helping people to earn a place in the universe. I feel like this movement forward is less about her being rebooted in the first place and more about her state after being rebooted, because it does seem like a large jump for her to begin feeling, and as we know later in the series, many Janets undergo this development at all, likely with no reboots. I think that she was always content because she always had everything she needed, all of the information in the world in her case. But now that she's finally feeling this, it kind of prompted that movement forward, as the manifesto did for the other Janets in season 4, which I'll get back to later. And while Janet doesn't understand it or is not able to vocalize it, she develops feelings and emotions during this period, some of them being affection for Jason due to him providing that comfort, you know, having that presence in her life. Someone who doesn't know anything, but is comfortable with it. Someone who she doesn't really understand everything about for the first time. And then, like, almost immediately, they get married. I don't think Janet really feels love at this point, nor does Jason. I think he's just being his impulsive self, but I do think she is beginning to develop romantic type feelings toward him, and is just doing what he says because she's unsure about how to deal with it or move forward with that. She does have that line about researching hundreds of thousands of pieces of romance media and discovering discovering that the central theme is simply someone who is kind to you, which isn't really the worst takeaway, honestly. I mean, kindness is a real strong baseline for a relationship. A lot of people don't start with it. However, she does put her own existence on the line to save and prolong her relationship with Jason by taking him and Eleanor to Mindy St. Clair's house. She clearly does have strong feelings for Jason and actually cares for him. When she tells Michael this, he completely rejects her entirely and threatens to reboot her again. So, now that she actually values something about her existence, she desires to keep it and actually disobey the person that is supposed to be in charge of her. I think this movement forward is really the start of this development from Janet, where it kind of starts showing you that yes, while Janet was designed to improve every time she's rebooted, she was never intended to act in this way before. Showing that while yes, she is still acting in accordance with the general rules of Janethood, she is able to develop and find her own identity within that, beyond what she was told to be. We see her feelings explicitly conveyed in season 2, where after being rebooted over and over again, Janet once again is back to somewhat regular functioning, not even remembering her relationship with Jason and sort of blindly following Michael. Despite this, when she tries to do her job for Jason and Tahani and assist them, who are now together, she retains those feelings from her previous existences and externalizes them in, simply put, bizarre ways. And she needs to actually emotionally deal with the end of this relationship, which she does by creating Derek as a rebound, exhibiting the most human behavior that we've seen from her thus far. I think it helps that Derek isn't a human, so she feels no need to actually help or be kind to him, as is with her programming, allowing her to express her frustration and fight with him. She makes great strides in her humanity, learning and developing as a person for perhaps the first time ever. But unfortunately, she's not all there yet. She still hasn't really learned to value her own existence, as in Janet and Michael. She advocates for her own destruction due to these glitches, and not only doesn't seem torn up about it, but is actively gleeful, encouraging Michael to do so.
Kill me, kill me, kill me.
I really don't want to do this.
It isn't until later in season 2 when she is really able to admit her own feelings and even immerse herself fully in her personal connections to these humans, disobeying the laws of humanity to save these people that she truly cares about. She's even able to work against her core design by impersonating Bad Janet successfully and betraying Sean to get Michael to the judge to advocate for the humans. Again, she is not supposed to be able to do that, and we saw before that she wasn't particularly good at impersonating Bad Janets either, and had to work really hard to go against those good Janet impulses, but she is able to get a hang of it through development, work, and time. And through this journey to regain what she was growing close to, she's even able to realize her own feelings that still exist for Jason. Even after taking Eleanor's advice about trying to get over him with a rebound guy, she's able to take a step back and examine her own feelings post-Derek, and decide by herself how to deal with them. This shows a massive amount of development and understanding for what she's even feeling, and I was so proud of her in this moment to be able to admit to Jason that she is still in love with him. Her even being able to recognize that is insanely impressive to me. And throughout season 3, she puts her own existence on the line over and over again, going even further away from her original design and doing the most to help these humans through this now incredibly messy scenario. See, in season 2, at the very least, she could suspend her apprehensions by believing that seeing the judge was remotely a plan within the realm of reason that she's used to. They're fighting against Sean. Sean is inherently a demon who wants to keep the bad place running. They are advocating for fairness, and she, adhering to facts, should go along with that. However, in season 3, Michael almost immediately disobeys the rules that the judge set for this test that Janet saw as reasonable. But despite this, she's still able to cover for Michael and successfully distract the judge, and later uses her powers extensively to protect the humans while they're on the run, beating demons up, which by the way was unbelievably badass and one of my favorite moments in season 3, transporting them to her own void for their safety. Plus, she is putting her own existence on the line for them and even shows remorse about potentially losing it, which is way far ahead of where she was just last season. I mean, a Janet becoming an interdimensional fugitive, that is unheard of. It's worth mentioning how important Janet's development and assistance are to the group in general. I don't think really anyone underestimates or underappreciates her in the fandom, like everybody loves her, but it should be brought up anyway that they literally wouldn't have even come close to succeeding without her. Her powers, her intellect, her ability to type at the speed of sound, all of it plays a crucial role in the success of this new afterlife that they are trying to create. I also enjoy that this is accompanied by her slowly developing more human tendencies. She really becomes much more of her own character in season 3, like her choosing to view the judge as her mother and Michael as her father, as weird as it seems immediately after she says it. Like, there's awkward moments like that. She's seeking out those very human, emotional connections, branching out from the romance that she experienced with Jason to general care and compassion for those around her, even trying to identify and align herself further with the humans in the process. And she continues to develop these little tendencies as the season goes on, growing further connected to Jason and having specific tastes, let's just say.
If I'm going to the mall anyway, I might as well pick Jason up some jean shorts. The kind with the frayed edges where you can see the pockets coming out the bottom, so that he can study better.
And being a little bit sarcastic towards Michael when he acts a tad odd or uses his terrible accents. I believe because she spends all of her time on Earth without her powers during this period. Like that time in season 1 that kicked off her development post-reboot. She has to truly understand what it's like to be without constant reassurance, especially even, she can't even teleport now, which she was still able to do, at least after the reboot in season 1. To be fearful, to be unsure, to be in the place that humans are in the entire time. One of my favorite scenes that is kind of the culmination of her development in season 3 is shown to us in season 4 but does take place during this finale when Janet says goodbye to Chidi before they erase his memory for the final experiment. She is so genuinely sad and emotional to see him go, and is so in touch with these emotions and understands what Chidi means to her. So much so that she actually cries and gives him a kiss on the cheek. The fact that Janet went from not even knowing what a kiss was or what it meant, or the fact that they thought it was gross at one point, to being able to recognize the appropriate moment to convey what someone means to you and to give them that gesture before they go is just insanely wild development, and it was such a heartfelt scene to watch. I mean, so important for her, and I'm glad that they included it in Chidi's, return episode. So, by season 4, although we sadly have her removed from the plot for a little bit, she's much more of an original character, rather than being humorous for simply being extremely robotic and all-knowing, though she was never a robot, and she is still all-knowing. One thing I immediately noticed is that she's much better at standing up for herself and valuing her own contributions. In the premiere, her small fight with Jason, I felt, was a really great addition to Janet's emotional repertoire, though I obviously don't want to see them fight because I love them. But it was nice that as she's being overextended to run this entire neighborhood and generate every single detail of its existence, she expresses her frustration when others demand ridiculous things of her or someone adds more emotional weight that she can't really deal with right now. It's very human of her, and shows how she's definitely improved her own self-esteem, recognizing all the work she does and her own innate value as a person, not a person. A big part of her arc was finding value beyond just doing things for other people and understanding that the work that she does do for others deserves to be acknowledged and appreciated by those around her, as any human deserves. She can also be a bit snarky at times this season, crafting clever insults and not always defaulting to kindness toward everyone as she was originally programmed. My personal favorite being her description of Mindy torturing her by simply describing her acting process. And I love how frustrated she gets with Brent's demands and his treatment of her, and while she can't stand up for herself due to the experiment, it is nice to see her valuing her own life, her own needs, and even having her express annoyances. But she's also clearly grown skills such as empathy, like when she acknowledges how hard it must have been for Michael to return to the bad place and save her. She's beginning to understand others more, process and consider their positions, empathize with what they likely felt. She's able to put herself in their shoes, rather than denying herself that humanity and that ability to emotionally process and judge her fellow things that are alive. But her humanity and ability to empathize and understand humans on a more personal level made her a better assistant to humanity as a whole. Everyone in the group taught her something about being a human, finding a family even if you don't have one, having value in herself as a being, not just a servant, and hoping when all hope is lost. And she used those lessons to fuel her belief in the Soul Squad, in Michael, in their endeavor, and ended up being crucial to saving the entire world and humanity as a whole. And it isn't just this Janet either. All of them eventually rise up to delay the judge from destroying Earth, believing in what Michael and our Janet have found about the humans' ability to improve. In fact, using the manifesto that Janet helped create to prove the judge wrong and save the entire Earth. It's so wild that all of the Janets unite to get this done, but I love how it amplifies our Janet's arc to show that they are all capable of this growth. It's such a beautiful way to convey how no one is doomed to their original design, and our Janet was not unique in that. Everyone has the opportunity to realize what is wrong, what needs to be fixed, no matter who created or raised them to think otherwise, which honestly I think is a crucially important message for this day and age, and one that I was impressed to see done so well with this very zany character. Overall, Janet, though not a human, has a very human journey in her breaking away from where she came from, what she was intended to be. Because just as it's in our design to do as we're told, it's also in our design to learn, grow, and decide for ourselves. And we all have a responsibility to do that. And it was incredibly inspirational to watch Janet find that. But anyway, let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments below. I always love discussing with you guys further, and support us on Patreon at patreon.com/PosiTVty. That's PosiTVty, to get extra content in the form of unedited essays and all of these videos before they come out on YouTube. Whoa, what insanely amazing perks. I mean, why would you not go there? But also, the support on YouTube means a lot. I'm not trying to force you to go there. I really appreciate every like, every subscriber, every comment. All of it means so much to me. I still can't believe I get to do this, and everyone who supports me is such a doll. You guys are so nice, and you keep me going, honestly. So thank you so much for existing and being here. I appreciate that, and I will see you for the next video, whatever you want that to be. Let me know. I'm open. Have a great day.